Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you are well. I am. Oh, it's such a lovely day today. It's the kind of day to take in a big deep breath and a lovely big sigh. It's gorgeous. Now, it is quite blustery out there, so I hope we're not going to have issues with sound, but I thought it's high time I did a little tour of the garden. It's actually the 1st of August today, although when you see this, I don't know, be in about a week's time or so. But yeah, I thought let's do a tour because the last time I showed you the garden properly was I've got to remember now, 7 plus 40, it was the 21st of June. 21st of June when I did that video. 2 weeks later and the entire garden was planted. And since I came back to the garden in July, when was it? When did I start back? In the last sort of 10 days or so? Anyway, I've mentioned a few times I'll show you the garden. So that's what I'm going to do today, if the weather permits. But, you know, just to say before I go out there, in case it is too blustery, so lovely to arrive this morning when the air was a bit stiller. I've only been here about half an hour, but most of that time, probably an hour, most of that time's been spent chatting and giving Rusty cuddles in here. He's just hopped down. Yes, when I first arrived, beautiful, teeny, tiny, weeny little Jenny Wren in my tomato plants, and off she darted into my neighbour's hedge. So tiny, and they're such little flitty birds, they're so quick. I do see them in the garden from time to time, but not often. So whenever I see one, I always immediately think, oh! And then walking down my path, I mean, there are butterflies and bees everywhere. It's an absolute delight. But today in particular, the lavender, of course, it's covered in bees again. But also this morning, absolutely loads of little gatekeeper butterflies. Pretty wee things. They're little wee things too. So hopefully there'll still be some out there I can point out to you as we go out. Let's point and name our butterflies if it's not getting too windy. It might have got too windy. They might have all decided to go and shelter somewhere. But anyway, without... Oh, and also when I arrived, not to my garden, to one of the first gardens, young fox cub, one of this year's cubs, so quite big by now. Oh my goodness, beautiful. He's curled up, and one of my neighbours has got semi-raised beds, and crop in there, and there's straw in the top. So this wee cub, I think it might have been a vixen. I couldn't see any bits. It did turn around. Curled up in this tightest little ball, and I spotted the colour of her straight away. This incredibly intense, deep russet orange red. And obviously as I came along, she's highly alert. She was sort of curled up, nose under tail, alert, stood up, where's the danger? And I could see, I mean, she looked absolutely magnificent in such fabulous condition. So I had this moment of, oh my goodness, you're so beautiful, please don't be scared of me. And then I arrive in my plot and there's fox poo everywhere and there's rubbish that's been brought in. So that's the first job I've done today, apart from chatting to my neighbours, is I've just gone around my plot, picking up the rubbish and scraping up the poos. Fortunately the poos were on paths, so not on my food, thank goodness. Anyway, right. So yeah, it's just walking into this it's a wonderful place anyway. Lovely friends, the lovely sight of all these beautiful gardens, and all the gorgeous wildlife. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Right, come on, let's go and have a look at the garden. Well, it is a bit of a blustery day, but let's see how we get on. Oh, the garden at the beginning of August. Let me just show you come here and show you the whole garden. that is a happy sight. Oh, wind, go away. Let's see if there's some shelter over here. So my tree lily, as you can see, it's almost over. And just because I know people are a bit worried about the cat situation, but can you see I cut these stamens out so they don't drop. It does mean that they lose their scent, but you know, to protect the cats. And look down here, all this lovely self-seeded cosmos. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. And there's some under the tomatoes through there. I will just let them do their own thing and enjoy their flowers. Ah, this one's finally getting some buds to it. Lovely. It's nice to have a few flowers dotted around, isn't it? And I think the bees agree too. Anyway, let's look at these tomatoes. So, this, hang on, where shall I show them to you from? I'm not really very with it today, I don't think. This row went in about a week to 10 days after the others, so you can see they're a little bit smaller. But, I mean, they're growing. They're definitely growing. These ones are now, about 4.5 feet high. But never mind how tall they are. They're all dripping with fruit. Oh, such a lovely sight. I just clocked this a few seconds ago and thought, oh no! No, it isn't blight, it's just, hello fly, it's just where I think it's rubbed on something. But yeah, plenty of fruit. It's just now a bit of a hoping game that some of it will ripen before blight. And actually, if blight does appear, I'll just get all the fruit off and take it home to ripen. Gorgeous. Oh, I love you know what? It doesn't matter how many years one has been growing for. The sight, oh sorry, the light's tricky today too, but the sight of this beautiful fruit, oh I love it every year. And oh yay, underneath it's underplanted with Rocquencourt. This one's setting its little beans. It's a beautiful bean. This is one of the only beans I grow for its whole pod rather than the beans inside. And it's a gorgeous buttery waxy yellow bean. And I just want to show you as well, look, its little flowers, little purple flowers. Aren't they cute? Beautiful. And this one, actually we can see the flowers a bit more easily on here. Oh, so pretty. Yay, take time to have a little look at your vegetable flowers. Gorgeous. So yeah, there's quite a few beans under that row of toms. I thought I hadn't put any Rocquencourt in this late sown bed, but apparently I did a few. And then you can see, because these were sown a few days earlier, look at all of those Rocquencourt. Now, the only thing, it's great, you know, I'm using the space. Let's not have any wasted space. The only thing is, of course, this is a lot of foliage in here, trapping moisture, which is not ideal with the tomatoes in a blight scenario. Never mind, it's done. I just don't like wasted space in the garden. It's so lovely though to see these. At the moment there are such tiny little beans forming, and again that beautiful flower. They almost look like sweet pea flowers, don't they? Or almost like snapdragons. Look at these tiny beans forming. But yeah, they will turn yellow when they're ready, and they will get to about anywhere between 10 and 15 centimetres long. So if you're looking for bush bean varieties and recommendations, I heartily recommend Beurre de Rocquencourt. If that's a bit of a mouthful, just look for Rocquencourt. And I tell you, they are gorgeous in a sort of a warm potato salad in the summer. So these beans, very lightly steamed, with your lovely new potatoes and a whack load of mayo on. Yummy. I'm getting hungry. The calendula. Right, this is my next job, is to start harvesting. Isn't that a happy sight though? And that's the main central path through the whole of the allotment site. So now you see why I did it up at this end, so that my friends and neighbours get to have an eyeful as they go along. That bed is all my own saved seed. I'll come on to that in a second. This bed was commercial seed, and I bought 3 types. If I come down a bit, you may be able to sort of see. So this tranche here are taller ones. They may be, I think this is more closely related to the Calendula officinalis. Then, gently, tenderly, this is a sort of a dwarf variety, I suppose you might say. I think I prefer to have the larger ones, the taller ones. But you know, if you had only small pots or a little border, the dwarf ones. And the ones at the back, really poor germination. Never mind, and I have plugged the gaps. Do you see there? And a couple on the end and one there. Some little, what do you call them? Hang on, I should have brought my stick with me. Cavallonero. That's what I'm trying to say. Gary had some spare seedlings. There's another one in there. And another one in there. So they'll just grow up and through. Neither plant will bother the other. So that when all the calendula are finished by, sort of November or so, hopefully I'll have some nice tall cavalloneros to nibble on. I've come to the other end just because that wind is gusting, and I'm hoping standing in the lee of this, my neighbour's hedge, will protect us a bit. Yeah, but you can see, so this is all my own safe seed. It's never been sorted into different types. But one end, this end, they all seem to be much taller than that end. It was 2 different pots, and I'm wondering if the 2 different pots of seed were from different years. But I would have done a whole row. As in, I would have sown from one pot, I would have done a whole row, because I was thinking, maybe that's one pot at one end and this was the other pot, different years, seed, saving, just one year better than the other. But that's not how I would have sown. Anyway, I don't know why, but that end of the bed is coming along much later and a fair bit shorter than this end. It doesn't matter. They're all going to get picked anyway. And this little handful on the end, these little pale ones, it's so pretty, isn't it? That's the one I had similar come up a couple of years ago, and Paul spotted it, liked it, and said, I'd love to have seed from that. So I saved some. Right, there's a lot to do in this bed, there's a lot to talk about, so I will do that in a separate video. We'll do a harvesting video, and I'm going to talk about all things calendula harvesting, and for cosmetics, but also talking about seeds too. Let's crack on, because I'm not sure how long this weather's going to be on our side. So I've got, this is a little bit of chard on the end. It's all looking grand. I need to put my nets back on. So I've got the first of my tender stem broccoli are coming. So as soon as the central heads appeared, I had them out, and that's what encourages these lovely sort of tender stems. I think there's almost going to be a harvest in this row, looking at those. Another couple of the spare Cavallo seedlings from our Gary. And then these are the summer cabbages. And I think, oh yeah, this one in particular, oh yeah, that's getting a nice bit of a heart on it. Oh, not long, not long. It's a wonderful time of year now, isn't it? Beginning of August, when now pretty much every day I'm eating from the garden. So this, let me just remember where we are. This bed here of squash, I beg your pardon, this is winter squash. This, oh, pesky wind. Those two are muscade. Oh, I've just noticed there's another poo. Oh, pesky foxes. Those two at that end are Muscade de Provence. And this one is a Long Island cheese. And woohoo! The first one is forming. What I haven't done really yet this year with the squash, because that's all squash over there, but butternut and some others, I haven't really had a look under leaves yet to see any signs of my actual fruits forming, but that's a really happy sight to see that one. Then the next two beds are courgettes, and I've been picking and picking and picking. Oh, and I've got, oh, they're so beautiful. I love them, this gorgeous glossy dark green, beautiful. Oh yeah, I've definitely got some more picking to do. And you can see they're just, let me just see if I can show you what I'm talking about. They're coming and coming and coming. So you can see the various stages. Look, there's, whoops, sorry, that's a whopper to pick. About to be a whopper. Just starting. That one's not even got its flower open yet, and then you can see these are more to come. So yeah, I've been loving so many courgette this year, absolutely tons, and I've been swapping loads too, so I've been having loads and loads to eat, and then, you know, if I've picked, I don't know, if I've picked 6 or 7 and I've eaten 4 or 5, whoopla, and then I have a couple to swap. Brilliant. Oh, I don't know if this wind is too hideous today. Also, next to them, and I've just spotted one under here, this is the cuke bed. Yes. Oh, that one's pretty much ready. You see, look, tons and tons of flowers. Got a little one coming there as well. This has already been fantastically productive. Let's just get back out onto the path again. Yeah, there's 6 plants in here, and again I've been doing a little bit of swapping. I've just seen 2 more under there too. Yeah, so I'm happily having a couple of cukes every day for me to eat, and then 2 or 3 spare to either swap or just give away. I just noticed that one as well. Hold on, sorry, let's get you down there. Oh yeah, two more. That's today's pickings. Oh, fantastic. Lovely. So this bed at the moment is, yeah, it's being super productive. Obviously the winter squash, they are yet to come, but you know, brassicas to come as well. This is butternut squash, and then some little mini ones. We'll have a closer look in a second. And at the front, I'm so happy. This is my bed of coco de pampol. So for those who didn't see, I did my initial sowing right at the beginning of May. And then, I don't know, I think about 70% of them were scoffed by slugs. So I re-sowed. But of course what that means is they're just coming in 2 stages. So for example, these beans, they're just forming. Just forming. See? Teeny tiny. And you can see where all they're not that clear to see, but where all the flowers are, that's the later sowing. And the initial sowing you can spot because the beans are well on their way. In fact, I would say these are only 3 or 4 weeks away from harvest, which is about the right timing. In northern France, in the town of Paimpol, where they have the festival, I think the festival is the last week of August, the last couple of days of August. So yeah, I will be having my August harvest early September, which will be normal. But then I'll be having a slightly later harvest from actually the majority. And you can see also from the colour of the plants, you can probably just about make out, you can see that some of the plants are going a little bit yellow. They are the older plants, they're the ones that survived the slug massacre. And then all the rest that are much greener, that's the later sowings, which are only just now starting to produce. Actually, it's quite handy having this one particular plant at the front of the bed, because I can keep an eye on these beans to see when they're ready for harvest. And then it will also, once I see that they're ready, I can then go rummaging in the rest of the bed for those slightly older plants to get them all picked at the same time as those. Yay! It's like it's my bean barometer. And actually, I'll go and talk about the beans in a sec, just while we're up here. Now, oh my goodness, the beetroot have been brilliant. This bed, you can see, had calendula in it last year. So you can see a couple of self-seeders, they can stay. I've had a ton of lettuce, but now it's all starting to bolt. Now, I did have a whole lot of lettuce seedlings to go in to follow this lot, but it was during my absence, end of June, start of July, I lost the whole lot one night to slugs. So I am going to be reseeding. So the idea is that when these plants are over, when they come out, I would have had a plant to go straight back in. So I won't have that. There'll be a bit of a hiatus. But, oh my giddy goodness, the beetroot, let me show you. Oh, I wonder if you can get, let's see if you can get an idea of size. There's my hand. It's going to be an absolute, can't see it, can you? An absolute stonker. Yeah, it's looking like a fantastic year for beetroot. And again, I've had loads, but I'm also sharing and swapping loads too. It's just working out great. Again, lettuce to come out, nothing to plug the gaps with yet, but I'll get sowing again. And yeah, again, another couple of Cavolineros. Oh, and this has been a really happy accident on the obelisk. This is some self-seeded beans from last year, and I think that they are Churchill Black. Going by, hold on a second, going by the colour of them. But what I've been loving is this sight. Hang on, it's a bit of a colour combo that I'm loving. Is the sight of these red flowers with the lavender in the background. Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. And underneath, the chard is getting monstrous. Yeah, the whole garden's doing really well. I'm really happy with it. The fennel are going great guns. Now I'm going to have to get you right down so you can see. Oh, can we see underneath? Might be easier from the other side. They're not quite, hang on, they're not quite ready for me to eat, but they're getting closer by the day. I wonder if it's going to be easier from this side. We might have funny light coming through. Yeah, you see they are gradually fattening up. Beautiful sight, isn't it? Gorgeous, gorgeous frondiness. So they're a few weeks away. Weeks, I'm not sure. But yeah, they're a little ways away, but they look healthy, they look well. Can't wait to go to harvest. Can't wait for my first scarf. Yum, yum, yum. Oh my goodness, I do love fennel. Yes. Right, now beans. I've got 2 stands of beans. This lot, and we'll go to the other bed in a second. They've not done, this whole section isn't quite so full, but these are some of my heritage beans I had so few left of because I just basically forgot to seed save last year. But they are coming. We've got gigantes on this side. So there we go. Lovely. So there's nothing of a bean in there yet. Got a lot of fattening up to do. But yeah, there are plenty of beans on here. That looks like another Churchill Black. This whole side should be gigantes. So yeah, they're coming. They are coming. I think they didn't like, I don't think they were very impressed with life in June. June was hot, it was dry, exactly what beans hate. But of course in July, did I just say June or July? In June, oh, I've just noticed a nice clump down here. Yeah, in June it was hot and dry. Oh, gorgeous. You see they're quite broad, wide as well as fat. Oh, another lovely chunky monkey behind there. Yeah, they don't like heat, they don't like dry. So I think they were a bit slow off the mark in June. They were planted in May, of course, but in June when they should have been getting going, yeah, they didn't really do much. And then subsequently we've been having cooler. I mean, it's still warm, sort of 20 to 24, 5 degrees, but the main thing is we've been having quite a lot of drizzle, not necessarily really heavy rain, but enough drizzle to keep them happy. This lot are looking considerably more rampant, but then again I had more seed to plant, so we've got this is reaching through from the other side. Good old-fashioned runners, Scarlet Emperor. This on here, that should be a Madeira Maroon. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure what anything is anymore because I did some repeat sowings. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of a sense you can get of it through the camera, but there are tons and tons and tons of beans. Beans, 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 beans galore. Little teeny tiny babies coming. And obviously the further down the plant, great big fat ones. Lovely. Now, and I don't know what happened here, but I think my plants got strimmed. Not by me. I think it was a bit of someone coming down this path, maybe doing the hedge, heavy-handed, never mind. So, back to the beans. Yeah. Cool, lovelies. They look and feel like gigantes, except they're too long. I think they're just runners. This was supposed to all be helder, but I think I lost quite a few, and quite a few didn't come up. Right, so what I was going to say about the beans is, obviously, if you're picking to eat the whole pod, just keep picking. You would have wanted to really to have started easily picking by now, because otherwise they're going to get a bit tough. And also by picking, you encourage the plant to keep putting out more and more and more beans. Because for every one that you pick, all that you're picking, this is the plant's seed, and that's all the plant is trying to do, is to grow and produce seed. So if we take them off, the plant hasn't got any seed, it's kind of forced to put more out. That's very kind of basically speaking. So yeah, if you're having them for the pods, hopefully you're picking, keeping on top of it. I don't have them for the pods, I have them for the beans, so they just stay and stay and stay. But also, it's something I've mentioned over the years. Let's go back to these two down here. let's assume they're runners. Ooh. And whoopla. By this stage you think, oh no, they're far too gnarly and hideous. And you might think, oh, just chop them up and put them in the compost bin. No, don't. They're far too good. Simply let the beans inside grow. You can see how they're starting to swell a little bit. Let the beans inside grow. Have the beans out. Chuck them in the freezer. Don't have to do anything with them. Chuck them in a Tupperware pot in the freezer and use them in your soups and stews through the winter, and then just discard only the pod in your compost. But yeah, if you've missed a few runner beans and they've gone gnarly and rough and horrid, despair not. Simply let them get fatter and fatter and fatter and enjoy them for the bean instead of the pod. Oh, sun's coming out. Right, and that was my couple of spare tomatoes I just bunged in here. Oh, and my carrots. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this bed was originally sown with carrots. Nothing happened, so I sowed it with spinach. All the spinach bolted. So I shoved these 2 tomatoes in. Oh, and these were some spare squash that should have gone in a month and a half ago. They didn't. I don't expect them to come to anything at all. There's another one there. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to put you in the ground, because if nothing else, you will produce some leaves, which I can chop up for compost. But yeah, I've got, look at it, all in one shot. That's my whole carrot harvest in one shot. 4. Better than nothing. Oh my word, the lavender. Ooh, let's go that way. It's going a bit blustery. Hang on, which way to go? We're on this side, let's come round. This rhubarb does not know when to stop. I'm not picking from it now though, just let it die back, let all the goodness go back into the rhubarb. Oh, this verbena, beautiful. Yay, I've got a bit of bunting up. I was going to get the deck chair out, except, oh my goodness, it's been too wet. There still are some blueberries to pick on this one. And this one, oh my goodness, it has been the most, I mean look, still dripping with them. It has been the most stonkingly good blueberry harvest this year. As we were, yeah, a few more blueberries to pick. Yay! And soon the lavender. Now I did harvest right from the end here because it was right over the path, almost touching the border for the girls' path, and I was just getting concerned that every time we walked past, because there were so many bees on it, that either we'd bash the bees and hurt the bees, but also that we might actually get stung on, because we've been wearing shorts and stuff. I didn't want anyone's legs to get stung, so you can see quite clearly. Harvest that little lot and leave the rest. And it is, I mean, it's just a constant source of pleasure and delight for me because of the insect life, which it looks like we're back to pretty much just bees at the moment. But just, I mean, dozens and dozens. I tried to count them the other day, but the little beggars, they move too quickly. Oh, that's a little, oh, she closed her wings. Is that a gatekeeper or a meadow? Can't quite see. But yeah, absolute joy. Every year it's such a joy. Oh, lovely. And also for when I'm sort of at this end of the garden, I mean, look, this rhubarb's having another life as well. But when I'm at this end of the garden, it's so lovely because it's sort of, it sort of frames the whole garden for me when I'm looking. It's this lovely burst of colour from the lavender, and then it's punctuated by the burst of colour from the calendula at the top. Oh, it is such a joy this year. I think we might have to I'm going to grab my seat. Sorry, did I make you go wonky? I'm just going to come and put my... We're going to sit in the herb bed for a minute. I'm just hoping that that spread of the fence gives us a bit of shelter from the wind. Look at this verbena as well. I've loved this site as well, the verbena and the lavender. Yeah, I think, considering that it is, you know, a much simplified, pared down garden, there's still a lot of produce out there, and I think it's, you know, it's always sort of at the beginning of August. I think our gardens always look their best in this part of the country anyway, because it's before sort of all the squash foliage starts to fade. It's before we've picked, you know, half the garden out. So it's this lovely tapestry of all the different greens. Then the little pops of colour from the, you know, the reds of the beans, the calendula, the lavender and verbena. But also it's all the different textures in the greens. The lush, juicy lettuce, the rampant cucumber and squash leaves, and then the gorgeous, frothy, fluffy loveliness of the fennel. Oh, it's that time of year now where I could literally just sit here for minutes, possibly even hours at a time, and just looking and enjoying. And this is what all the work was about. Never even mind the harvest. This moment each year when we have all this colour and foliage and insect life and bird life. Oh my goodness. Well, it's obvious I love it, isn't it? I do. I love it. But I think that's enough of me waxing. I think I need to go and get on with some work now, before the next dumping of rain, or drizzle at least. So I'm going to say cheerio to all of you for now. Hopefully see you again before too long. Whatever you get up to, whatever I get up to in the meantime, hopefully we have some dry, sunny days so that some of it can be got up to in our gorgeous gardens. Cheerio.